My ex-wife forgot to hang up. That one careless mistake, a phone call she thought was over, a line she thought had gone dead, cracked open the one conversation she had spent 2 years making sure I would never hear. My name is Daniel Mercer. I am a 38-year-old divorced man who had done everything right after the papers were signed. I grieved quietly. I rebuilt slowly. I stopped asking why she left and started accepting that some doors close without a full explanation. But the night she forgot to hang up, I wasn't just Daniel the ex-husband anymore. I was a man standing alone in his kitchen, shoes still on, phone pressed against his ear, listening to his ex-wife tell her closest friend the truth she had never once said to his face. It started as a normal call. She needed the name of our old insurance provider, something administrative, something cold and practical and safe, the way all our conversations had been since the divorce. 2 minutes, maybe three, professional, polite. The kind of exchange that made people think we were mature adults who had handled everything gracefully. But we hadn't, we had just both gotten very good at pretending. I gave her the information she needed. She said thank you, I said no problem, and then I heard the soft click that should have meant goodbye. But the line didn't die. I could still hear her breathing, the faint hum of her television in the background, the sound of her moving across her apartment floor, the same floors I had once walked barefoot every morning without thinking twice. I should have said something. I should have cleared my throat or tapped the screen or done anything to signal I was still there. But then I heard her voice change. Not the voice she used with me, the other one, the real one, low and unguarded and exhausted in a way that hit me somewhere behind the ribs. I don't even know how to explain it, Renee, she said. And just like that, my hand tightened around the phone. Because in 2 years of divorce, of signed papers and divided furniture and careful, bloodless conversations about insurance providers, my ex-wife had never once sounded like that with me. Tired, honest, undone. I stood completely still in that kitchen, the refrigerator hummed, the street outside moved, and I held that phone against my ear like a man standing at the edge of something he couldn't come back from. Because whatever she was about to say to Renee, I already knew one thing with absolute certainty. She had no idea I was still listening. I keep picking up my phone to call him, she said, not for anything important, just to hear his voice, just to tell him about my day like I used to. I stopped breathing. Renee, I left that man, I signed those papers, I packed my things and walked out of that house and told myself it was the right thing. Her voice cracked at the edges just slightly, but I don't think I've had one honest night of sleep since. I heard her friend say something too muffled to make out, a question maybe, something gentle. And then my ex-wife, Claire Mercer, the woman who had sat across from me in a lawyer's office 2 years ago with steady hands and dry eyes, said the words that rearranged everything inside me. I didn't leave because I stopped loving him, Renee. I left because I loved him too much and I didn't know what to do with that. The refrigerator was still humming, the street was still moving outside, but something inside that kitchen had gone completely silent. I kept waiting to feel free, she continued. Everyone said I would, that I just needed time and space and all those words people use when they don't know what else to say. A short, broken laugh. But I don't feel free. I feel like I made the biggest mistake of my life and I'm too proud and too scared to say it out loud to the one person who actually deserves to hear it. My back met the kitchen counter. I hadn't even realized I had been stepping backward. Because here was the thing about Claire that nobody outside our marriage ever fully understood. She was the most composed woman I had ever known. Graceful under pressure, unreadable in a crisis, the kind of person who could walk through a burning room and make it look like a choice. It was one of the things I had loved most about her. But it was also the wall I had spent 4 years of marriage never fully getting past. And now, in the dark of her apartment, talking to her best friend at a volume she thought was private, she was completely without that wall. And it was the most I had ever heard her. I just miss him, Renee. Her voice dropped to almost nothing. I miss the way he made coffee too strong and left cabinet doors open and remembered every small thing I said like it actually mattered to him. She paused. I miss being someone's person. I closed my eyes. And in that moment, standing in my kitchen with my shoes still on and my phone pressed against my ear, I felt two things at exactly the same time. The deep ache of a man who had spent 2 years wondering if any of it had meant anything to her. And the quiet, terrifying realization that I was no longer the same man she was describing. The man she missed had been waiting for her to come back. But I had stopped waiting. And that changed everything. I hung up quietly. No dramatic gasp, no shaking hands, just the soft tap of a finger on a screen and then silence so complete I could hear my own heartbeat settling back into place. I didn't call her back that night. I didn't drive to her apartment. I didn't text 3 words I couldn't take back. I just stood in that kitchen in that silence and let the truth she had accidentally handed me sit with me like a stone I wasn't ready to pick up yet. Because Claire was right about one thing. The man she was describing, the one who left cabinet doors open, who remembered every small thing she said, who had loved her so completely he had made her feel crowded by it, that man had spent the first year after divorce desperately hoping she would come back. But in the second year, something had shifted. Quietly, without announcement, without a single dramatic moment to point to, I had started becoming someone new. Someone who cooked real meals instead of reheating grief. Someone who called his mother on Sundays. Someone who had started to understand that you cannot pour 2 years of your life into waiting for a door that may never open. I had stopped waiting. And now the door was opening, and I didn't know how to feel about that. So I did the only honest thing I knew how to do. 3 days later, I called her. Not to tell her what I heard, not to win anything, not to perform the speech I had rehearsed in my head 100 times during the marriage and never said. I called her because something she said on that accidental call had stayed with me longer than anything else. I miss being someone's person. She picked up on the second ring. Daniel. Yeah, I said, it's me. A pause, careful, fragile. Is everything okay? I looked out my kitchen window at the same street, the same morning light, the same ordinary world that had somehow kept moving through everything we had put each other through. I think it could be, I said, if we stopped pretending we were finished. The silence that followed was the longest 3 seconds of my life. And then Claire laughed, soft and disbelieving and warm in a way I hadn't heard in 2 years, the kind of laugh that doesn't ask permission. You always did know exactly the wrong time to be brave, she whispered. Working on the timing, I said. Daniel. Yes. Come over, I'll make coffee. You make it too weak. I know, she said, I was always hoping you'd fix it. I grabbed my keys before she finished the sentence. Some doors don't close because the love ran out. Sometimes they close because 2 people got scared at exactly the same moment and neither one knew how to say it first. But sometimes, if you're lucky, if you're honest, if one of you forgets to hang up at exactly the right moment, those same doors open again. And this time you walk through them differently, not desperate, not performing, not hoping the other person will finally see you. You walk through them knowing exactly who you are. And choosing each other anyway. That is the only kind of love worth going back for. If this story moved you the way it moved me writing it, do me one simple favor right now. Hit that subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story like this one. Every week I bring you real, raw, emotionally powerful stories about love, loss, second chances, and the quiet moments that change everything. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Subscribe now, turn on that bell, and I will see you in the next one.